Story 1. People smile when they talk to you. Attractiveness is not only about looks. If you can make people laugh or feel good about themselves without being creepy, ask about things important to them, follow up on major life events, and so on, there is a good chance that you are attractive to that person in some way. Keep in mind, that does not automatically mean they want to have a sexual relationship with you. Attraction does not have to mean sexual attraction. Sometimes it can simply mean the opposite of repulsion. Story 2. Making people laugh almost too easily. But I like it when people smile, so I cannot complain. Story 3. Strangers feel safe approaching you to ask questions. I do not know why this is. Story 4. No idea. I usually just say thank you to any compliment. But in my head, I am thinking, are they being genuine or joking? Story 5. Your supervisors and leaders at work want you to present at work. They will assign you projects and want you to give presentations internally and with customers. Although it is superficial, businesses promote attractive people over less attractive ones. This applies to any jobs that require you to speak in front of other employees and customers. It may not help you earn more. I am not sure about that. Story 6. If you have never paid for medications, it is probably because you are attractive. Story 7. People will tell you that you are handsome, and you may not believe them because the girls in high school 16 years ago told you that you were ugly and that no one would ever want to date you, much less be with you. Story 8. Even if there were signs, we are not good with signs. Story 9. When people introduced themselves to you a couple of years ago, I hired a new employee after a phone interview, so I had no idea what he looked like. He started work 3 weeks later, and when I walked him to his cubicle, my entire department, men and women, lined up behind me to meet him. The next month, I hired another older employee. When I walked him into the office on his first day, there was no line of greeters. I also noticed people calling the younger guy the department alpha male. To be fair, he was a nice, humble guy, and funny enough, he complained about all the visitors he would get throughout the day. Story 10. When people make the first move on you at nightclubs or music festivals, it rarely happens to me. But when it does, it makes me think I am not as unattractive as I think I am. Story 11. I promise this is not me trying to show off, but I do not know how to say this without sounding extremely conceited. After I got divorced, many men started coming out of the woodwork to tell me they had always been attracted to me and wanted to date or be with me, but did not make a move since I was married. Now they were looking to pursue me now that I was single. As someone who has always been overweight and was bullied as a child for being awkward and nerdy, I was surprised. Story 12. Men and women faint when I am close, although admittedly, that could be due to me washing my hair in a mixture of goat urine and horse manure. It makes my hair shiny. Story 13. People go out of their way to do things for you and help you. Pretty privilege is definitely real. Story 14. When you find out your younger sister has been giving out your school pictures, and your girlfriend finds a picture of you in the mirror of her younger cousin who lives in another city. Story 15. Babies stare at you. Story 16. When people are curious about you, such as having no social media presence. Yes, I know Reddit is social media, but it is more anonymous. They respect you more or wonder where you are in life. Absence increases attraction, I feel. Story 17. Girls will sneak looks at you. They are not very good at hiding it because they look away, but not quickly enough. I am male. Story 18. All the attractive mothers escort you to the car rider lane as you drop off your children. Story 19. People who always remember your name and lingering looks or stares. Story 20. People assume that you are dating someone or multiple people. Story 21. You think people are staring at you for a different reason. Story 22. People laugh, smile, and compliment me when talking to me. They don't really like to hold eye contact, though. I have also noticed that when people have options between me and someone else, like if there are 2 cashiers at my job, they will come to me even if it is more inconvenient. Story 23. People are merely attracted to you, but not loving you. I mean this platonically and romantically. My personality does not match the stereotype of my looks. I am autistic. It is almost like people feel betrayed when they get to know me and find out I am a whole person. Sorry, I am not superficial and easily influenced. Story 24. People you dated but were not on your best behavior with, maybe you ghosted them or behaved in ways you are not proud of, they still try to pursue you. Story 25. As a man, women will look for excuses to touch you or initiate conversation. They will even go as far as making it seem like it is a total coincidence. Women are very socially aware, their lives depend on it. Very rarely do they come into any type of physical contact with men they are not attracted to. Story 26. You do not ask the same question that has been asked on this subreddit multiple times. Story 27. As a man, 1. Babies stare at you. 2. People laugh easily at your jokes. 3. Women feel safe approaching you for help. 4. Women are more proactive in making plans to hang out with you. 5. People take interest in your quirky hobbies and do not automatically make fun. 6. Older ladies act inappropriately about it. 7. The older generation tries to set you up with their daughter or granddaughter. Story 28. Most friend groups fall within a narrow range of attractiveness. If all your friends are good-looking, you probably are as well. Story 29. When a girl's voice goes up 5 octaves when she says hello to you. Story 30. I get free items like a lot. Free drinks, complimentary appetizers, nothing excessive. My wife often points it out. Story 31. Magpies keep coming into my house. I started with 1 and now there is a group of 3. I cannot be a Disney princess if I am not beautiful. Story 32. My male friends' girlfriends usually do not like me. They always see me as a rival. My last 2 male bosses were always nicer to me than to other people on the team. 90% of the men I know now have shown romantic interest since I have been single for a little less than a year. This is all very new to me. When I was a teenager, I was the girl with a lazy eye, bad teeth, and overweight. I started taking care of myself with eye surgery, extensive dental care, and began going to the gym. I can tell you, being attractive is a game changer. Story 33. They look deeply into your eyes. My girlfriend always tells me how pretty my eyes are. She was the first to compliment me consistently. She also lets me know when other women are looking into my eyes a little too deeply. Since she taught me what to look for, I can feel it when a woman is looking deeply into my eyes. Story 34. I started going to the gym and got a decent haircut in my late 30s. I have never had more attention from women in my life. The difference is that you catch them staring at you, randomly smiling, and getting giggly when you talk to them. Sometimes they even make obvious comments showing interest. Story 35. Actually getting a Tinder date if you are a guy. I was complaining about only getting 1 Tinder date, and this was about 8 years ago. A coworker said, "What are you complaining about? At least you got a match on Tinder." Furthermore, I have had success on Hinge, Bumble, Blender, Plenty of Fish, OkCupid, Meet Me, and Scout. Evidently, not many men have had that level of success. Women not only want to talk to you, but also want to get closer to you when they talk to you. Flirting with them is not seen as creepy. Story 36. This kind of comes at it from another direction, but if you think you are like a 1 to 4, you are probably not giving yourself enough credit. Statistically, most of us are probably between a high 4 and a low 7. Though it is probably too rigid to think about these things so strictly. Someone out there would think you are a 1 and someone else would think you are a 10. Attractiveness is subjective, and there is no accounting for taste. Story 37. Isn't it when babies smile and look at you a lot? I think it could be hard to determine if you are attractive based on how adults act. When I see someone attractive, I act as nonchalant as possible and do not even look their way except to sneak small glances without them knowing, hopefully. Story 38. Humor and charisma, as the years pass, are the qualities that always matter, no matter what. Story 39. Act like you are unattractive. It helps a lot. Always respond to any compliment with a thank you or I know. Story 40. This is like the 3rd time I have seen this in a week, and honestly, I do not really care. However, I guess it would be about being able to get employed and have a healthy relationship. Story 41. Attractiveness is not static for men. It can depend on the available pool of desirable men. When a man is young and relatively average-looking or of average appeal, the odds favor women's choice. Average young men getting rejected a lot in their 20s have a damaging effect on their self-image that tends to stay with them. Can be hard to shake off. They start to think they are unattractive. Later, when they turn 30 and 40, the pool of attractive eligible bachelors shrinks. Women start to understand that the men they passed over in the past are not so bad after all. Younger 25-year-old women begin to find older, accomplished 35-year-old men with careers, actual resources, and worldly wisdom to be more attractive and a better bet. Suddenly, they become very attractive. Story 42. Signs you might be more attractive than you think include people frequently making eye contact with you, receiving unexpected compliments, or others often going out of their way to be around you. Sometimes, subtle cues like people seeming nervous or flustered in your presence can also be a hint. Story 43. I have always wanted to know if I am good-looking or not. I have been told many times that I am, but it seems to be only gay men and much older women who flirt with me. Story 44. People approach you to tell you who you are. This has only happened to me twice, and I did not believe them. I thought they were trying to sell me something. Also, free things, apparently. Story 45. When you go on a date that goes really badly and you definitely do not connect or get along in any social way, but they still really want to see you again. Story 46. If you have a poor self-image, then you are probably more attractive than you feel. Story 47. When I was single, I had all kinds of overtures tossed my way. I didn't think they could have possibly been interested in me. Only sometimes, decades later, I would think about a conversation or encounter and say, wait a minute, looking back, some of these were pretty blatant, and I totally missed the cues. Not that I would trade my wife for the world, but nevertheless. Story 48. Girls ignore you and never talk to you, but then you find out that they all secretly have a crush on you. So you ask a bunch of them out, but they go right back to ignoring you again. This is one of the downsides of being attractive. Story 49. I once had a man ask if I was gay because I am good-looking yet never pursued any women. I am not just low on confidence. Story 50. I realized I am much more attractive than I thought when women started approaching me in public. I was pretty shy until my late teens due to some sexual abuse when I was 12 to 13 years old. I didn't think any other woman would want me. Then I realized that women do not just go up to every man and start talking to him or asking if he is single. It took me a few years to understand that they were signaling interest in me. 30 years later, I am still riding the wave. Story 51. Pretty privilege goes a lot further than you think. I graduated college in 2009 in Michigan. If you remember, that was during the recession and there were no jobs, especially in states like Michigan. I never had an issue finding employment. I have also moved all over the country on a whim and never had issues landing a job in any new place, big or small. I have never worked as a waitress or in the service industry. I do office administration and accounting work for white-collar industries. To this day, when I walk into an interview room and see a man behind the desk, most likely I am getting a job offer. I would love to say it is due to my skills, resume, or personality, but for most of them it was pretty obvious. I have also been hired by bosses who later told me they thought I would make the company look good, which always made me feel like the smart kid who disrupts the curve in class. Story 52. People compliment you, observe you, and make an effort or find reasons to talk to you or be close to you. Story 53. People just stare when you walk by, and I feel like it is not always about them starting a conversation, but they may view you as intimidating. Hence, they don't say anything other than smile. Story 54. Despite feeling insecure about my appearance, I still attract many girls. However, I do not think I am good-looking. Story 55. I realized I was attractive when I noticed I was getting more female attention than male. Story 56. People laughing at most of the things you say. People glancing at you while walking, pedestrians. Compliments. Story 57. People are nice to you more often than not. People look at you frequently. People tell you who you are. Story 58. Okay, I love myself and know I am attractive, but lately, I have realized this even more than I thought. Every single time I leave the house, I get complimented on something. My outfit, my purse, my hair, my sneakers, everything. It has always happened, but now that I am out with my boyfriend more and he is there to witness it, I have been paying more attention. Story 59. People do a double take when they see you or are speechless and overwhelmed when they meet you. Story 60. Try ordering from the menu at a busy New York restaurant during the lunch rush. Story 61. She is sleeping next to me just like she has for 35 years, so I must not be that bad. Story 62. If you look like me and have my brain. But to be honest, this is kind of my experience. I honestly don't know what kind of signs there are because I'm pretty oblivious and self-conscious. Some people are very overt in their interest, and that's how I find out I was secretly attractive the whole time, even when I'm not feeling like I was looking my best. One funny instance of this was when I thought I was going out in a sloppy outfit with boots and shorts to pick up some takeout. A man on a bike nearly crashed from not paying attention to where he was going. Then, on the walk back, a man in a car was completely stopped at a stop sign for a while as I walked by. I was like, oops, I guess I can't wear this. Story 63. People want to be in your presence. It is not much more complicated than that. The intimate connection can be, but that is very personal. Pay attention to their pleasures. Story 64. I am 63 years old. I always have a fresh pair of sneakers, nice jeans, and a fresh haircut. I have been turning heads of both men and women. Story 65. In high school, people would meet me and say, "Whoa, that's your last name? Wait, you are so-and-so's brother?" No way. People always thought I was older, assumed I had a girlfriend in conversations, and groups of girls would stare at lunch or in the halls. But I was, and still am, an awkward guy and thought I had a huge forehead or something. Story 66. While I am out in public, babies always stare at me while smiling. Sometimes, when I wave to them, they walk right up to me. Story 67. When women start moving closer to me to get a better look while I am out walking. Story 68. They always want to talk to me and ask about my company because they said they would be happy if I were with them. Story 69. People do not automatically throw up at my sight. Children do not cry in agony, and mirrors do not shatter with my reflection. Story 70. My wife occasionally tells me that women look at me and smile when we are out walking. Then they notice her walking with me and immediately stop. I never notice this, but I like to think they are checking me out and are annoyed to find out such an attractive person is already taken. Probably wishful thinking, though, since I am not attractive at all. Story 71. I'm getting an incredible amount of services and things for free. People are always very friendly. Some women look angry at me, though. I get stared at a lot, and people engage in conversation and listen to what I have to say. I still often think I'm ugly, but I guess it's normal for a former obese woman who has experienced the opposite for several years. It's a scary contrast, to be honest. Story 72. When your lesbian best friend tells you that her mother has always thought she would have been better off with you. Story 73. My wife is the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. She is truly stunning. When I started dating her, we were in a pandemic. The first time we went out without masks, I thought, there is no way I am dating this woman. She must have a missing front tooth or something. I found out that I am pretty attractive too. Story 74. These replies made me think. When many friends ask about your thoughts on relationships, is that a sign as well? I thought it was a normal topic, but I also struggle with understanding such things. Story 75. I never appreciated this as a younger person. I felt very unattractive and nerdy throughout my early 20s, but looking back, I guess I was considered attractive. Men at school would always offer to do things for me. Bring me snacks, walk me places, help build my IKEA furniture, offer me a ride to the mall or coffee shop, and ask if they could study with me. They would also show interest in whatever I was interested in, such as sitting through a movie I wanted to watch or going to a concert for a band they had never heard of because I needed someone to accompany me. That sort of thing. Despite all of that, I was pretty shy about actual dating. Even though I would hang out with guys from the dorms or classes, I never dated anyone until my junior year when I was 21. Story 76. I work in an industry where we get a lot of older customers. Grandmothers have no problem telling me how pretty I am. Once, a lovely old lady told me I should call my parents to tell them they are lucky to have me as a daughter. I rarely get attention from people my own age, so I am always delighted when the grandmothers tell me this. Their husbands, however, have a different way of showing it. Story 77. If customer service representatives are noticeably kinder to you than to the people ahead of you in line, if strangers in public smile, start a conversation, flirt with you, or offer you drugs, if men check you out, initiate conversation, pull over, and give you their phone number or ask for yours, if women make prolonged eye contact with you or start playing with their hair while talking to you. Story 78. I lost 150 pounds and now I fit society's expectations of beauty a little better. I have seen people just notice me. I did not realize how invisible I was before until I lost weight. Story 79. If you are a man, you can approach a woman and she will give you 5 seconds to see if you are conversationally stimulating, while other men are dismissed immediately. Story 80. People who are about to cross your path apologize beforehand or seem apologetic and make room for you. Story 81. People taking your words with too much weight, as if you are an expert when you are just another bystander. People assuming you are in charge and approaching you first when they come up to a group you are in. Men getting excited if you talk to them, if you are their type, or women surrounding you as if they all want to smile. Men taking any indication you are not sexually interested as a personal blow to their ego. Women giggling and smiling at you while sneaking glances. Women assuming you are a player when all you did was say hi. Story 82. As sad as it is, strangers are nice to you. Strangers treat unattractive people very badly. Story 83. I work in public service and men either think I am pretty, they are just bored, or they appreciate that I am helping them. I often get hit on, even with a wedding ring on my finger. I do not think I am that attractive, so that is the funniest part. Story 84. Personally, I like the stop sign because it is the most unique. Story 85. Strangers paying for my meals. Attractive women approaching me in grocery stores to tell me how stunning my children were, and running away when my wife returned from the next aisle. Free drinks at the bar, and friendly bartenders taking me home at the end of the night. Story 86. Reddit is my only social media platform. However, I am the star of my wife's Instagram, even though we have a dog. Story 87. Everybody remembers my name right off the bat. It is quite an uncommon one. Story 88. People laugh at your really bad jokes. You get away with acting poorly when you are drunk or high more than you should. People introduce themselves to you out of the blue and other things like that. Story 89. Positivity. I find a mediocre-looking person who is positive, bright, bubbly, personable, and approachable so much more attractive than a really good-looking person who is always negative. Story 90. I have had this happen a few times. When asked, "Are you single?" I would tell them no, and they would respond with, "I figured as much." Story 91. Even if I got signs, I still am not going to believe that I am attractive. Story 92. I just can't answer this. I wish I could, but I can't. I feel very unattractive. Story 93. I have never found myself attractive, and I probably never will, but people have always told me I am attractive. I find it to be a nearly universal truth that everyone, no matter how attractive, thinks they are not. Statistically, that does not make sense. If everyone says the sky is blue but you think the sky is green, you are probably wrong. With that in mind, I have accepted that while I do not see myself as attractive, others do. I am okay with that. Story 94. People tell you that you are extremely beautiful, but you do not believe them. Story 95. Constant compliments. If only I could see myself from their perspective. Story 96. People hover. I am fit and attractive, as I have been told. The other male cooks are constantly hovering and asking if I need anything. To be clear, I do not need help because I am cleaner, quicker, and more proficient than any of them. However, I am used to it, so I just ignore it. Honestly, I avoid eye contact in public because of staring. Story 97. If people often compliment you or make an effort to spend time with you, chances are you are more attractive than you give yourself credit for. Story 98. My wife keeps telling me how her friends find me attractive. I am not sure if she says that to make me feel good about myself or not. Story 99. That body count is getting higher than Snoop Dogg at the Olympics. Story 100. People are either really nice to you for no reason or really mean to you for no reason. An in-between almost does not exist for you. Story 101. I read once that most people are more attractive than they perceive themselves to be. Story 102. You can say offensive things to people and instead of them getting angry or trying to fight you, they laugh as if it is a joke. Story 103. People avoid me to the point of being ostracized because they are afraid of how good-looking I am. Story 104. Most people who believe they are too unattractive to date are average at worst. This is not to say that people cannot be unattractive, but many who think they are deformed or ugly are not, and that perception is entirely in their mind. People are often poor judges of their own attractiveness, either overestimating or underestimating it. If you think you are hideous, chances are you are more attractive than you realize. This does not mean you are an 8, 9, or 10, but you are almost always more attractive than you believe. Story 105. Being confident enough to not worry about how attractive you are. Most people find confidence attractive. The more you focus on your own attractiveness, the more your flaws will stand out to you, making you less confident and less attractive. Sometimes you just have to live life as it is. Story 106. People have told me over the course of my adulthood that when they first met me, they thought I would be mean because I am so pretty, but they were happy to admit they were wrong. I will take the compliment. Story 107. When other attractive people also enjoy having a conversation with you, it is noticeable. I observe this when my friends, who others consider attractive, and I chat on various topics during walks or lunch or breakfast. Also, believe it or not, if you are in a group where your friends are also attractive, chances are you are at least on their same level of attractiveness. I think this has something to do with choosing friends who are comparable to you in appearance, capabilities, experience, and so on. Story 108. I always thought I was average looking at best because I received only 1 or 2 compliments from women per month. This happened while at places where flirting occurs, such as clubs and birthday parties. The internet showed me that this is not the norm for most men. Story 109. When I was younger and single, girls were always around. Took me a long time to understand. No worries, I got a good one. Story 110. You can get away with more than the average person. I am nearing 40, have visibly aged a lot, and gained a fair bit of weight in the past few years. It does seem harder to keep someone's attention. I was already working on improving the less ideal parts of my personality before, but it feels more socially necessary these days. Story 111. I had an experience recently that made me question the image I have of myself. I attended a friend's wedding. A week later, she posted several pictures from the wedding online. I saw a woman in a picture that I did not recognize. It took me a long time to realize the unknown woman was me. She was not horribly overweight. She looked like a nice, normal woman. What a surprise. Postscript. Yes, I do have a history of anorexia. Story 112. Someone once told me I never wait at bars for attention from the bartender because I am attractive. I have never thought of this, but I literally have never had to wait for the attention of a bartender. And I usually get served within a minute at most. I thought it was because I give eye contact, smile, and look ready, but who knows? Another thing is people find a way to talk to you. I absolutely have an innocent little crush on this information technology girl at work. She is so cute and nice, and I always find a way to talk to her. Even if it is silly. Story 113. People always ask you for directions or act like you are arrogant or think you are better than everyone, even if you just exist or do not feel well. People also often want to take all your things. Story 114. The way people respond to you and look at you can be confusing. I have to say, it is a real mind challenge to know on one level you are attractive but you have dysmorphia and feel like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. People get confused when you seem standoffish, but it's not that I am rude. I am just extremely insecure. Please stop judging others in general. It is very lonely for us. Seriously, I have dealt with this for a long time and I am very lonely. Story 115. If you catch girls or guys repeatedly sneaking a stare at you, I would say it is a pretty good sign. Story 116. For me, it was when I was in my 20s, and some of the women at my work would make comments here and there about my busy dating life on the weekends. I did not, in fact, have a dating life at that time. It made me think that maybe I could have a busy dating life. Story 117. This is anecdotal, but I was at a gay club as a straight man supporting his drag queen friends. I was by the bar when an Amazon of a drag queen walked by, stopped, double-took, backed up, and leaned down to talk to me. She asked, "How old are you?" I replied bluntly, "Old enough to know when a beautiful woman is hitting on me." I had had far too much to drink at this point. She kissed my cheek, tweaked my nipple, smiled, and said, "Funny and good-looking. I'll be looking for you later." The takeaway for men at least is when a gay man hits on you shamelessly, it is a strong indication of being attractive. Story 118. Getting likes on dating applications. I was with someone who made me feel terrible about my appearance, and then once I left, I received a lot of attention, almost too much. It was not hundreds of people or anything, more like 10 to 20 people in the first few months. The idea that at least a few people liked the way I looked was eye-opening. Story 119. If you are a man and a woman approaches you, congratulations, you are attractive. If you are a man and you can make anyone smile just with small talk, congratulations, you are attractive. If you are a man and women tell you you are attractive, chances are they mean it. If you can walk up to a group of women and they do not immediately make an excuse to be alone, you might be attractive. If they start looking at each other with a subdued smile, you are attractive. If you are a woman and men seem to stare at you, you might be average to attractive. But if they act like jerks or extreme gentlemen, you might be attractive. Most unattractive women are invisible, and most men do not put on a show if you are average. If men let you get away with being difficult when you do not get what you want, or they let you hit them, you are very attractive. Story 120. I met a girl recently who seemed to reciprocate my attraction toward her. I cannot recall that ever happening before. Story 121. People are making an effort around you. They reach out to grab coffee or go shopping. Story 122. I always make a friend within 5 minutes or less when meeting and talking to a boy or girl. I can talk very naturally and do not need to change my character when talking to a girl. She always seems very happy to talk with me. I have an identical twin brother. Story 123. From my experience, strangers often stare at you and smile. Girls always show interest and want to be close to you, even if they are in a relationship. You make friends easily, and everyone wants to go out with you. People generally trust you even if they don't know you. People always treat you well, even if you are rude to them. People generally respect your opinion, regardless of whether you are right or not. Gay men approach you frequently in public places like the gym or pub. When you meet attractive people, they enjoy talking to you and often want to keep in contact. Bosses, managers, and supervisors respect you, and you get away easily with everything. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.